Do you do Spotify?
Only to listen to Discover Wisconsin's podcast.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna ask if you had your Spotify wrapped.
Oh, like at the end of the year?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't have that.
Okay.
It's gonna say you listened to Discover Wisconsin's podcast, The Cabin, which I'm also a co-host on, or reoccurring host, I should say, not necessarily a co-host. And the Words Are Hard podcast. Those are gonna be the two things that I've listened to on that.
Man, you're cool.
Mm-hmm. Vain, maybe.
Well,
Um,
I wasn't gonna go there, but
yeah. What's yours? What do you got?
okay, you know my musical taste.
I don't really know if I do right now.
Well, okay. I have a rather eclectic taste in music,
You don't say.
but lately, and by lately I mean for the last several years, I've been listening to a lot of soundtracks because
Hmm.
that's good for when I'm writing. I like music without words, and it's,
Hmm.
hyped up and whatever. And I've been listening to a lot of the Almost Paradise soundtrack because I really like the songs. I just really like how they
Hmm.
sound. And then also Librarians and
Hmm.
Leverage.
Uh-huh.
The same guy did the Librarians and the Leverage soundtracks.
Hmm.
So Spotify tells me that my main genre or whatever is
Uh-huh.
fantasy heist music, right?
That's
And I don't
great.
know what to do with that. Stop it.
Dude, it's dark when we're recording this, but in the obverse of what I'm used to.
The obverse.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a
Look at
$5
you.
word.
Yeah, listeners, we are recording at 6:30 a.m. for you
Mm.
because this is the only time that we could find to squeeze this in
Yes.
before Christmas Eve, which is when this episode will air.
This episode will be airing Christmas Eve, so Merry Christmas, listeners.
Merry Christmas.
We are going to be flying off this one on the seat of our pants. We have no outline for this, but with that being said, welcome to Words Are Hard, a writing and editing podcast. I'm your host, Ramsey, the extrovert in charge of keeping the conversation flowing.
And I'm your other host, Rachel, editor, indie author, and English teacher.
Today's episode is brought to you by DD Photography.
Who do you have no notes?
I have no notes,
Because
so
you
here
weren't
we go.
prepared for this.
DD Photography, good friend of mine, Dawn Dunbar. She does amazing. Her cookies are awesome. She just gave us some cookies. So,
Kim brought some of his Christmas bread in for the Real Writers
oh,
group last week.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. They cook so much stuff.
Oh my gosh. Like the kids ate some. And
Oh,
my kids
really?
don't eat anything that's not tacos and spaghetti.
Right. Huh. Anyway, so Dawn, besides her amazing cookies, she does
Bread.
great work, good photography. Oh, yeah, her bread too. Good photography work. She specializes in senior portraits and just portraits in general. I've said it before. She does great work on cars. So make sure you follow her, Dawn Dunbar Photography. You can find her on Facebook or Dawn Dunbar
I think it's I think it's BD
Photography.com.
photography for Facebook.
Oh, it is DD on Facebook. Her website though is dawndunbarphotography.com.
Yep.
And then her email is Dawn Dunbar uh
And a number.
40.
Yeah.
There we go. Dawn Dunbar 40. Dawn, I'm sorry when you're listening to this. It's way too
6:30.
early for me. I'm a night owl. So, anywho, so yeah, check her out. Operates within a 50-mile radius of Merrill. So, book her, get some good photos taken for the holidays or after because it's too late. I forget this is going to be
New
airing.
Year.
Yeah.
New Year's a
New
holiday.
Year. There you go.
Valentine's is a holiday.
New
Epiphany.
year, new you. Get some photos for that. All right. So, like I said before, we're going to be kind of flying off the seat of our pants on this one. We don't have an outline. We did have episode scheduled to have Bethany Hensel.
Pencil. Yep.
Hensel. She was going to be joining us as a guest host. She had a family emergency pop up. Unfortunately, was not able to make it on the day that we had planned recording. So we're just gonna give you here a little Christmas special. I'm just gonna make up some questions off the top of my head, and we're gonna talk about it for a little bit.
That can't
So
possibly go wrong.
no,
I do
but
want to interject super quick.
yeah,
And we are going to get Bethany on again. We've been talking. We'll have a new
yeah.
date after Christmas once things settle down. This episode is episode number 24.
Ah,
It is airing on December 24th, 2024.
oh
So if
my
you could work that in
God.
somehow to your questions, I feel like that would be appropriate.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, with that being said,
Why are
let's
you
just start
transitioning
off.
if you have nothing to transition into?
Uh, if you would have just shushed, I would have had my transition.
You had the transition. I'm worried about what's after the transition.
What's your favorite Christmas movie?
I don't really watch Christmas movies. I know. Probably The Last Holiday. That's the only thing that I watch every
Queen
year.
Latifah?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
All
a
right.
great movie.
It is a good movie. All right.
What about you?
Um, I'm a sucker for all the Hallmark movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
I
so
do.
which Hallmark movie? Prancer? Gotta go with Prancer, Sam Elliott.
Well, okay, the Hallmark style of movies, I
So
should say.
Prancer.
No, I've never seen Prancer. I like the Christmas Prince series. Have you seen those? It's on Netflix.
Uh, I watched a few with Missy a few years ago, but they all blend together in my brain, so I don't.
Yeah, pretty much. I do enjoy those, but I don't know. Jim Carrey's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. That's a banger.
Oh, okay. And now that you said Jim Carrey, I'm. It's not related to Jim Carrey at all, but this is where my brain
Hmm.
jumped to. Muppets Christmas Carol.
Oh, Muppets Christmas Carol. Yeah, that's a classic. Got to watch
Yeah,
that one.
obviously.
I think we usually watch that one on Christmas Eve every year.
Hmm. No cheeses for
Um,
us nieces.
oh, that's the best thing. So here I've been asking this at my trivia. When the mice are cold, what do they say is frozen?
Oh, it's been a year since I watched it. And I watched it with a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Sure. I
So
think this is probably one of my favorite lines in maybe any movie.
I don't know.
At least definitely a Christmas movie. They're like, "We're so cold, our assets are frozen." I love it.
That's good.
It's one of my favorite things. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. What's your favorite Christmas song? And or carol, whatever you want to go with.
Yeah, I really like the hymns.
Oh, yeah, that tracks for you.
Yeah, I mean, Silent Night.
And German or English?
Well, both. I like it in German, but I really like the like Once in Royal David City
Hmm.
and like the ones that you never hear because they're not
Yeah,
carols, they're Advent hymns.
right.
I like those a lot.
I don't know. I kind of don't really care for a lot of Christmas music, to be honest.
See, and that's the like I like the carols,
Hmm.
but I don't necessarily like Christmas music.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that you hear in
Um,
the stores and the whatever. Oh,
what's
you know
the
what's a really good one though is the Peace on Earth, Little Drummer Boy.
oh, the mashup?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's mom's favorite.
Yeah,
I forget who that's by. Oh,
it's
it's
David
by
Bowie and
and Bing Crosby.
yeah.
Yeah. Weird combo, but it works. I don't know, maybe just to keep this going, I'm probably gonna have to say the 12 Days of Christmas, but the
Muppets.
no, Straight No Chaser.
Oh, that's a good one too. But when the
Yeah.
Muppets do it with John Denver,
Well, yes,
that's a good one.
it is, but Straight No Chasers,
No, I like that one a
12
lot.
Days of Christmas, you get a lot of those mashups in there. It's nice.
Hmm.
I love how they bring Africa by Toto on.
Yeah, that one's fun.
Yeah.
I have
Favorite?
my students.
Oh yeah.
We look at lyrics occasionally
Mm-hmm.
as poetry, and we go through it. I had my kids do Christmas Bells, which was
Mm-hmm.
originally a poem by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
Mm-hmm.
And then they set it to music and it became I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day, which I can do because I teach at a parochial school. But so we looked at that as poetry, and
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's a good song.
Hmm. Okay.
You would know it if
Um,
you heard it.
to make this a writing and editing podcast, what style of poetry is that in?
What do you mean, what style? It's lyrics.
Oh, that's right. I
Well,
thought you said,
capital L lyric, meaning poetry
oh,
that refers to it expresses strong emotion.
so lyrical.
I mean, that's a style of poetry. Is capital L lyric. Doesn't necessarily
Okay.
mean that it's words to a song.
Boom. There. We just did something podcast related.
Good job.
Okay, with that, let's move on to what is your favorite Christmas food?
Heart and tongue with Spetzels, Spätzle.
At a girl.
I haven't had it in,
Oh, it's been
15
a hot
years,
minute.
but
Yeah.
but every
Uh,
Christmas I'm like, man, I have the recipe somewhere. I should try and make it.
do you have the heart and tongue recipe?
I do, but I don't know where because I
Oh,
I got it like I called grandma when I was in college and I said, "Can I please have this recipe?"
yeah.
And she wrote something down which was less a recipe and more a here's what I do when I make it
Uh-huh.
kind of deal.
Yep.
And I made it once. I made it in college.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's canned. How long did you have to wait?
I just didn't can it. I did the
Oh,
vinegar and the it was
okay. For those of you who may not know what we're talking about, sour heart and tongue. I have no idea if it was a Great Depression recipe, if this is a German
no, it's just
recipe.
German.
Okay. But it is canned deer heart and cow tongue. You cube up the meat, can it, and when it comes out, there's a vinegar base. It's sour and bright and just
It doesn't sound
fantastic.
good, it doesn't smell good, it doesn't look good, but it tastes really good.
Tastes great. So yeah,
You make it
venison.
with a gravy
Yep,
and we always made it, well, she always made it with
mashed
Spätzle.
potatoes. Or
Yep.
did she do spätzle?
She did Spätzle and mashed potatoes because,
Yeah,
German. And
yeah.
then
Well,
homemade bread.
our spätzle is totally different than actual Germans
Right. We called them
spätzle, but
Spätzles and they were kind of more like dumplings,
yeah,
just really
much
thick,
thicker.
really
Yeah.
good.
Oh, so good.
But I made a lot of Spätzles in college because the
Hmm.
ingredients are water, flour, eggs, and salt, and
Yeah.
that's what I could afford. So
Yep.
make a batch on Sunday and eat that through the week and
I
another batch the
never
next Sunday.
I never thought to put that in for favorite Christmas things, but you're absolutely right. The our family's Christmas when we would get together, that was always grandma made that at the farm. That's a good reminiscing there.
You're
That
welcome.
brings back a lot of good memories, which I'm going to use to say her cottage cheese pie.
I knew that's where you were going. I
Mm,
knew it.
yep.
I was
Oh
just thinking about that yesterday.
God, I can't. I've looked at recipes. None of them
Yeah, they're
look like
not.
hers.
Mm-mm.
They're not great, but
Well, because she put raisins
basically,
in it.
I found ones with raisins in it.
Okay.
But it doesn't look quite right.
Yeah.
But basically, listeners, cottage cheese pie is like a poor man's cheesecake. Just lumpy cottage cheese baked into a pie, and it sounds
Sugar
disgusting,
and
and it looks disgusting. But
it
again,
makes like a custard.
it tastes really good.
It
Yeah, it
is.
makes a custard, and she put raisins in there, and it was kind of just like a lumpy cheesecake.
It's good.
Honestly, it's probably my favorite pie,
Yeah.
period. Her cottage cheese pie, and I wish I had the recipe.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to talk to one of the aunts. Oh, it's today.
That's
We'll have to
today.
talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to talk to one of them, see if they got it.
Yeah. I do
Um,
also, if we're talking about like continuous Christmas, like something that we have every year,
mhm.
mom's ham roll-ups and eggnog.
Oh yeah, the ham
Not
roll-ups are a
together.
must. Ham roll-ups are a must. Midwest staple right there. I've heard them called Midwest sushi,
Yeah.
but yeah, here slab of ham lunch meat, smothered in cream cheese and then pickle and rolled up and then cut into little pieces. Can't beat that.
You add a toothpick and you make it fancy.
And then it's the horse de vers.
Yep.
What was the other thing you said?
Eggnog.
Oh, her eggnog. Yeah.
You make homemade
I
eggnog.
tr- I tried making it. I have the recipe.
Yeah, no, I can't do it either. I don't know
No,
what she does.
no. She's a
And
witch.
it's literally because I've watched her do it. She literally just dumps it all into a blender, blends it up. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I can cook.
I know. Yeah, I couldn't do it either. I've tried it and I'm like, this just doesn't taste right. Granted, I don't think I had any spiced rum when
Well,
I made it. So
that is an important ingredient.
it is. I want to try it with brandy. I bet you'd be really good with
It
brandy.
is really good with
Oh,
brandy.
there you go.
I prefer brandy to rum, so that's usually what I do. But
Yeah, I'm not a huge rum person. I'll go bourbon all day long, but yeah, good brandy. Yeah, so we got movies, we got songs, we got food. I don't know, what's your favorite Christmas tradition?
I really like Christmas caroling
Oh,
with all the
really?
aunts and with Julie and what was
Where
that face?
we I'm laughing because it just made me think of the peppermint schnapps in between songs.
Well, yeah. And you go out and I mean, we had the aunts have been doing it and mom and, they've been doing it for since they were kids.
A long time.
And when we were old enough, mom would bring us along and
Hmm.
they have sets, like set songs. They have a song list, not
Hmm.
an actual written out list because they've been doing it for so long. And they have specific arrangements of the songs that they do.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
crazy.
that is just developed over them doing this for so long.
Well, and they're a very goofy bunch of people.
It is, and it's fun, and they
So
always
their
like it's
songs they change them up,
they do.
and they add little flourishes here.
You take a bit from
Um,
one song, one arrangement that you like, and then they add a
mhm.
little bit from another thing, and they have little, they've been doing it the same way for however many years, and it's
Yeah,
just fun. And
the
they're
big
good. They're good
they
singers.
are. Yeah,
Well, I think of
whatever.
like Santa Claus is coming to town. They
Hmm.
do, there's an Oak Ridge Boys version
Yeah,
that kind of jazzes up the ending a little bit, and they do that, but they add the beginning from but they take bits and pieces from different arrangements and they smush them together and they make it their own, and I just love it because you can't get it anywhere else.
no,
And just the banter because our family is objectively hilarious.
I would.
And
I
when
mean,
Kenny comes along,
look at us.
well, I don't know
We're
if we're a good
hilarious.
example of it, but I enjoy it when Kenny has his bells
Hmm.
and anytime you bring someone new because they bring friends or we bring friends or
They make
whatever.
you.
Like when you get to We Wish You a Merry Christmas, which has a different ending, and every time someone tries to sing along, you stand by the new person and be like, okay, now wait. Don't sing this part because you're going to sing it wrong. Okay, now wait. Don't sing this part because you're going to sing it wrong. I just enjoy
Oh,
that. I think it's fun.
it's been years since I've gone caroling with them.
But it's always a
Um,
good time.
yeah. I would say my favorite sticks with that family and just our family's Christmas. The one that we're doing later today. The day of recording, not today, the day of release.
Yep.
What growing up, what our family did. We've got a large-ish family. There's five siblings from grandma and grandpa, or they had five kids, I should say. Yeah, and each of their kids had a few kids, and
That's how
got
that
to
works
be
usually.
got to be a pretty decent size. So what we would do, we would start at, and it would be a gift exchange. And I'm talking to you like I'm explaining it to you, but I'm just really trying to explain it to the listeners.
I know, I get it. Each person would draw
Um,
a name, so each
each,
person would
yeah,
have one.
right. So all the kids would get to, exchange with somebody and the aunts and uncles and everything. But then what we would do is we would go to each aunt or uncle's house and whoever they had for the kid
Well, hang on.
or for the exchange.
So it was set up as a rotation. You would go to each house, and
Well,
at
yeah,
each house, there would be a different part of the meal. So you'd start with hors d'oeuvres
I was
at
getting to
one.
that.
You got to start there. That's why we're moving houses. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense.
Ah, okay, yes.
And then
Yeah, you
another
would
one would be
start out,
soups and salads, and another one
yeah,
would be drinks, and then you'd get the main course, and then you'd have desserts.
right, because there was five of them, so you just had to throw something else in there. So it was drinks, before dinner drinks.
Yep. Or
Yeah,
after dinner sometimes, depending on the.
it was, yeah, depending on the rotation. And desserts was always done back at the farm,
Mhm.
which is where we got to have grandma's cottage cheese pie. But yeah, and then at every house, the kid whose name was drawn would get to pick up their present at that house. And then you got to find out who got it for you and everything, and you got to open it in front of everyone. And I loved that. Growing up,
Yeah,
that was the best thing ever. And you never knew which house you know, you were going to go to and which, was going to be your turn to finally get a present or whatever.
and sometimes it was
Um,
best to have to wait until the last one
yeah. Yep.
because you get all of the yummy food and the.
When we got to the farm, grandma and grandpa always got all the grandkids another little thing. So
Mhm.
we got to open something at someone's house and then open something at the farm. It was just great. That's probably some of my fondest childhood memories.
Yeah,
I
I like that a lot.
loved that. And I was really sad when we had to start going to Pinecrest and we couldn't travel around a lot. And I'm still a little bummed that we're not traveling around
It
anymore. We
makes
did it.
sense logistically
It does.
because the person
Yeah.
who had the main meal, by the time you get to the main meal, you've been eating
And
for
drinking,
5 hours. So,
eating and
because this was
drinking.
at, you'd start at 2 and you'd go home at like 11.
Yeah.
Like this was an all afternoon
This is
thing.
an all day thing, which is great.
It was. But
But
yeah, then you get to the main house and nobody's eating the main course because you you
they're
can't.
all filled up.
So it does
Um,
make sense to have it all in one. But yeah, I enjoyed that too. That was a
yeah.
good.
We did do it again a couple of years ago. And that was really, really nice to have that happen again.
Hmm.
But now we've just been going to a single house and it's grazing style of eating, which is good. But yeah, I miss that. That's probably my favorite thing about Christmas
Yep, mine
has
too.
been
I
that.
look forward to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what do you think? You ready for Christmas?
Yeah, for the most part, I actually
Yeah.
I still have some gifts that I need to
Hmm.
here, but it's for Christmases that we are celebrating after Christmas. So I have
Oh,
some
like
time yet.
our
Like
little
ours in
family one.
January. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've got most of my shopping done. Did a lot of it yesterday.
Nice.
Yep. So, I had a transition. I lost where I was going to go with it.
Something
But
about being ready.
no,
Paul Simon song. Ready for Christmas Day.
are you ready to wrap this episode up?
Good one.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
am because my coffee is empty, so I need to refill.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I'm just
So
going to go back to sleep.
to speak.
Um, I'm speepy. Yeah, I was texting this morning and she's like, "Are you awake?" And I'm like, "I'm speepy."
No, you said stall. Because I asked if you were ready,
Oh,
and you're like, "Whoa, no, just stall. I only got 1 hour of speep."
ah, that's what it was. An hour and a half of speep.
Yep,
Yeah, true story.
I believe.
Anywho, if you enjoyed the episode today, please like and subscribe, leave us a review, share with a friend who needs to learn some editing or grammar tips with
Or
this
Christmas
very grammar forward one. Yeah, our Christmas
Christmas
stuff.
traditions, weird
Um,
German recipes.
yeah, there you go. Don't forget to subscribe to Rachel's newsletter at rosedeanediting.com. That's ROSEDENE editing.com.
I'm
Uh,
watching your face, and you're looking off to the side like you have to remember
I
what
am. I read this every time. I don't.
you don't know
It,
how to spell Roasting.
well, no, I have that, but
That's what you were looking like. You're like,
no,
I really got to concentrate.
my brain was moving forward already to your seven steps
Oh,
thing, and I couldn't remember what it was called. That's what that look was.
hmm.
Um, oh, when you subscribe, you will get a guideline to the 7 free steps of editing. A free guideline to the 7 steps of editing. There we go.
So close. Line editing.
Line editing. Ah. All right, where's your part?
My part is to heckle you.
Come on, where's your the next part is yours.
You can also sign up for my line editing and action series. You get a free one-page edit for a free edit of your first page, opening page, whatever, for the lines and the
See, it's not
edits.
so easy, is it?
Well, now you've messed up the flow.
You. Yeah.
Anyway, sign up on my
Rosedine.com. Rosedene editing.com.
sign up on my website or message any of the social media stuff where I post this stuff and stuff.
Stuff. Join us
When
next
when
week
you
as
look at the line editing, stuff is one of the things that I'm going to tell you not to say, but it's okay for
they,
me.
yes, exactly. Join us next week as we dive into blank
An
topic
actual
because
episode.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Probably the Bethany interview, hopefully.
Okay. Okay.
We've been talking. We're setting something up. It's going to be fun.
Okay. So join us next week as we maybe talk with Bethany Hensel.
If we don't,
Um,
we'll have an actual episode for
we
you,
we will, yeah.
not just what we threw
Uh,
together at 6:30 a.m.
yep. Yeah, she texted me. She's like, "What are we going to talk about?" I'm like, "I don't know, Christmas."
To be fair, when he says I texted him at 6 this morning after we had planned to do this since
At
Tuesday.
at 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at 6 is when we realized, oh, we need a plan. We should
Yeah. Yeah.
talk about something and not just, hey, we need to record. Great. What are we
Yes.
recording?
Right.
This. Sorry, listeners.
With that being said, Merry Christmas, everybody. Hope you have a great time with your family and friends. And we will see you in the new year.
We won't see you. It's a podcast.
You shut up.
You want to sing Jingle Bells on the way out?
uh, no. All right, you can cut it here.
Go back to sleep.
I'm going back to sleep.